A Ponzi scheme is considered a fraudulent investment program. It involves using payments collected from new investors to pay off the earlier investors. The organizers of Ponzi schemes usually promise to invest the money they collect to generate supernormal profits with little to no risk. In this video, we are going to explain the concept of a Ponzi scheme and also its dark history. A Ponzi scheme is simply a type of investment scam where investors are promised substantial returns. Companies that participate in Ponzi schemes focus all of their attention on luring new clients. Once the new entrants invest, the money is collected and used to pay the original investors as returns. Let's try to explain more practically with an example. I have $200. I tell you, invest $50 today and you will receive $100 in couple days. You give me $50, I give you $100 back. You feel like, oh wow, I just made X2 more. You tell your friend about it. Next day you and your friend come to me and give me $50 each. I take $50 from each of you, so I have $250 again. You come back in couple days, I now give $100 to each of you. You and your friend just made the easiest money in your entire life. You are so happy that you tell all your friends about it. Rumors spread fast, so next day 10 people come and give me $100 each. Now I have $1,050 and I tell them, okay, come back in few days. Next day I'm going to have another 20 people who will give me $2,000 totally. By the time when first 10 people will come to get their $2,000, I'm going to have $3,050. So I will repeat this cycle until I will decide that it's time to grab my money, and I will come up with some spurious reason why my business has failed. I will grab all my money, it could be hundreds of millions by that time, and disappear. History of the Ponzi scheme. The scheme got its name from one Charles Ponzi, a fraudster who duped thousands of investors in 1919. Ponzi promised a 50% return within 3 months on profits earned from international reply coupons. Back in the day, the Postal Service offered international reply coupons, which enabled a sender to pre-purchase postage and incorporate it in their correspondence. The recipient would then exchange the coupon for a priority airmail postage stamp at their home post office. Due to the fluctuations in postage prices, it wasn't unusual to find that stamps were pricier in one country than another. Ponzi saw an opportunity in the practice and decided to hire agents to buy cheap international reply coupons on his behalf, then send them to him. He exchanged the coupons for stamps, which were more expensive than what the coupon was originally bought for. The stamps were then sold at a higher price to make a profit. This type of trade is known as arbitrage, and it's not illegal. However, at some point, Ponzi became greedy. Under the Securities Exchange Company, he invited people to invest in the company, promising 50% returns within 45 days and 100% within 90 days. Given his success in the postage stamp scheme, no one doubted his intentions. Unfortunately, Ponzi never really invested the money, he just plowed it back into the scheme by paying off some of the investors. The scheme went on until 1920 when the company was investigated. How do you find a Ponzi scheme? Most Ponzi schemes come with some common attributes such as 1. Promise of high returns with minimal risk. In the real world, every investment one makes carries with it some degree of risk. In fact, investments that offer high returns typically carry more risk. So, if someone offers an investment with high returns and few risks, it is likely to be a too good to be true deal. Chances are the investor won't see any returns. 2. Overly consistent returns. Investments experience fluctuations all the time. For example, if one invests in the shares of a given company, there are times when the share price will increase, and other times it will decrease. That said, investors should always be skeptical of investments that generate high returns consistently regardless of the fluctuating market conditions. 3. Unregistered investments. Before rushing to invest in a scheme, it's important to confirm whether the investment company is registered with U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, or state regulators. If it's registered, then an investor can access information regarding the company to determine whether it's legitimate. 4. Unlicensed sellers. According to federal and state law, one should possess a specific license or be registered with a regulating body. Most Ponzi schemes deal with unlicensed individuals and companies. 5. Secretive, sophisticated strategies. One should avoid investments that consist of procedures that are too complex to understand. How to protect yourself from Ponzi schemes. In the same way that an investor researches a company whose stock he's about to purchase. an individual should investigate anyone who helps him manage his finances. The easiest way to go about it is to contact the SEC and ask if their accountants are currently conducting open investigation. Also, before investing in any scheme, one should ask for the company's financial records to verify whether they are legit. Lastly, a Ponzi scheme is simply an illegal investment. Named after Charles Ponzi, who was a fraudster in the 1920s, the scheme promises consistent and high returns, yet supposedly with very little risk. Although such a scheme can work in the short term, it runs out of money eventually. Therefore, investors should always be skeptical of investments that sound too good to be true. That wraps up the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay notified about our uploads.